Anyway, well, welcome to the show, you guys, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to share with you some things I've learned about self-love. Yeah, you ready? Well, let's get into it, yeah? Alright.
Hello, this is your captain speaking. Welcome aboard on this flight to where you want to be. A huge thank you from your future self and us for deciding to journey with us. We're expecting a smooth flight and anticipate some turbulence in the shadow work section. So keep those seatbelts on when the light is on and allow yourself grace. If the weather continues to be, well, we will see some wells of emotion and peak celebration on our right on this journey. On behalf of the whole crew, we would like to thank you for flying with us. Until our destination is reached, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of your flight. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of Getting to Where I Want to Be. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a few things. The first is self-love. That is the primary reason for this episode today. And the next thing is we're going to talk about the three things that are going to guide our journey of getting to where we want to be. And that is intention, reclamation, and reflection. Now, these three facets are things that at any point in your life you can pause and go, where am I? That's reflection. Where am I? Where have I been? Where am I going? I can reflect on the things that have happened before so that I can change my intention. Because if I realize that I am not where I want to be, or I am where I want to be, then my intention changes. If I'm realizing I'm not where I want to be, my intention changes and shifts a few things so that I feel like I am on the path of where I want to be. And if I am where I want to be, the intention could be maybe to go even harder. Things change based on where you are in relation to where you have been. So you reflect upon where you have been. Where have I been? Where am I going? And then you set an intention. That's number 2. And reclamation is number 3. With reclamation, I really want us to think about a few things. The first bit is joy. I think we have been robbed of joy in this life. And I think we've been robbed of joy in these journeys too. Because a lot of the time we take ourselves too seriously, and it's like it doesn't have to be that deep. Getting to uncouple some of the things and learn new things and grow could be fun. It could be learning, it could be growing, it could be expanding the things that you know. So, reclamation works in 2 parts. Reclamation is just reclaiming joy as a way to grow. And the second bit is reclaiming anything that you thought that you lost. So reclaiming the self, because I think we have lost in a lot of these processes of becoming who the world wants us to be. We have lost who we are. So the reclamation is a reclamation of who you are. It's a reclamation of the internal, it's a reclamation of that essence that is you. It's a reclamation of that freedom that you felt at a certain point that went away when you felt like you needed to lock in and become something else. Okay, those are the 3 facets: intention, reclamation, and reflection. Now let's talk about self-love. What even is self-love? Well, Google loosely translates self-love as a way that you love yourself. Okay, I don't remember what Google said, but that's what I had in my writings. But in my own words, self-love is a way in which you can look upon yourself with more grace. You can love on yourself. You can respect yourself. You see yourself as an entity in your own life versus just ignoring yourself and living life. You get to give yourself more grace and love on yourself and find more chances for you to bloom, because you realize that you are the only person in this world that can push you to bloom in that way. Now, that's a long, weird explanation of self-love, so we're going to put it into practicum as we talk through this episode. So, I believe self-love is at the root of this journey, because self-concept is at the root of this journey. Now, self-concept, I think, is the mother of everything. And then you have self-concept, you have self-esteem, and then you have self-love are in there. They're all things that have to do with the self, but I think they're all under the umbrella of self-concept. Now before we get into self-concept, I just want to share that the reason I realize that this is like a primary tenet of this journey of getting to where I want to be, for me at least, and the way that I'm going to share it, is because after I started journaling, I realized everybody is talking more with the world than they're talking with themselves. Everybody's having conversations with everybody else, and there is no space for the self to show up in your own life. So there's a blur where the self should be, and so there is no grounding that we have navigating the world because there's no stopping and recognizing ourselves in all of it. I also think this concept of the self is central to the journey because everything starts from here. As within, so without, as above, so below. The vibration you're reflecting inside is what will follow you from the outside. And I'm going to talk about this more when we talk about intention, because this is self-proven, and if you don't believe it, you can, start trying to notice it in your own life. Every time that you are intentionally choosing something, you are met with that same thing. For every decision, there's an equal and opposite reaction, or whatever Newton said. Or was it Newton that said that? Is that Newton's law? Newton's third law? Okay. Besides the point, the self, I think, is integral. It's the main place to start this journey because it affects everything. Everything starts from the self. And so I think once you fix your relationship with the self, then you move through the world in a different way. You move through the world better. Woo! Amen. All right, so your relationship with the self is just such a powerful, necessary tenet to fix in order to become who you need to be. Self-concept is the idea of you. It's the idea of you that you have. It is not external. It is not what people think about you. It is what you think about yourself. So take a moment. Just think about, what do you think about yourself? What do you think about yourself? If you were to write down 5 words right now, what would you say about yourself? Just take a minute. Don't scroll. Don't run away. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. So, did you think of those 5 words that you think about yourself? What were those 5 words? Were they good words? Were they bad words? Now, good and bad is relative, but let's reflect on that. Were they words? Did you even get to thinking about those 5 words? Do you get to think about yourself as an entity like that? Think about that. Well, whatever your answer was, self-concept is the idea that you have of yourself. Now, it goes without saying that if you think highly of yourself, the world reflects at that level. If you think lowly of yourself, the world also reflects at that level. And every decision you make, I repeat, every decision you make, in my opinion, stems from your self-concept. If you love yourself and respect yourself, which are all things that come if your self-concept is good, then you will move in ways that will respect the entity that is you. Because you think highly of yourself. Think of the person you think of highly the most in this world. What are some of the qualities that you admire in them? Do you have those qualities? Do you think you could think about yourself in that way? In that lovely way? Do you think you could see yourself in that beautiful way? I'm really just posing questions that will make you think about what this self-concept is and how you can think about applying it to your own life. Okay, now that we've talked a little bit about what self-concept is, let's talk about self-esteem. Self-esteem, I think, is something that also stems from self-concept. And it is just how much you value yourself. right? I think once you start changing your self-concept, all these things change. Your self-acceptance, your self-esteem, all these change as a result of thinking of yourself more highly in general. So when you change your self-concept, your self-esteem changes. We've learned of self-esteem in high school or life skills or whatever. But often we forget about it in reference to life. Like we go through life because we don't think about ourselves going through lives a lot. We forget where this self-esteem lies, and we forget that we need to be working on making it better. Okay, so we've covered self-concept, we've covered self-esteem, we've covered self... No, we haven't covered... We have covered self-love. Now let's talk about self-acceptance. Inside of your head, there is a voice that comes on when you're thinking about something, or thinking about yourself, or thinking about... Yes, mostly yourself. Let's say you're thinking about... Oh, I have a good one. Let's say you open a door that says push. You pull it. What's the first thought that comes into your head? How do you talk to yourself? That's an important tenet of this journey. How do you talk to yourself? What's the voice that you use to talk to yourself? Because inside of your head, there's a critic. And this critic is usually very harsh, because usually we have taught it to be harsh because of how we've been raised and the schools we've gone to and how we've grown in the education system that we're under, and yada, 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 yada. A lot of the times, the inner critic, it's harsh, shame. Yo, it's a bully. And when you start changing the voice of the inner critic, or when you stop believing the voice of the inner critic and thinking it's your voice, life changes. Life completely changes, you know. First thing, you're living your life, and then you stop thinking like that, and everything changes, you know. All right, so life really, truly changes. Like, that's when one of the beginnings of my life changing was that, to stop in the name of love. I don't know who sang that song, but I also have I'm gonna need you to stop by Victoria Monet. Okay, so many thoughts, but if you read the book Don't Believe Everything You Think, you begin to not believe everything you think. You begin to know, in the Buddhist teachings, they believe that there is your thoughts. Your head space is like a river. It's flowing, it's going, it's flowing. And the thought pops in there, and it flows if you don't attach to it. The problem comes when a thought comes, and you attach to it, and you start believing that narrative that it is telling you. So, if a thought comes and tells you you are dumb, and you grab onto that thought and you believe it, your reality will enforce that thought. Your attention will go towards I am dumb. Therefore, everything in the world is going to reflect that, even when it's not reflecting that. You will find evidence for what you're looking for all the time. If you have noticed this with attention, if you think of a red Honda in the morning, if somebody speaks of a red Honda in the morning, you will see 10, 5, 15 red Hondas. It's not because you're looking for them. I mean, it's not because there's more of them. It's because you're looking for them. Your attention is looking to enforce this red Honda. So all day you'll go around in the back of your head, because you notice them in a way that's not actively like, oh, I'm thinking about red Hondas. And you will notice this with things. You know, you'll pop up and you'll see the things, and it's like they're everywhere. No, they're not. They're not. There's no more red Hondas in wherever you are than there are noticements of the red Hondas, because you're paying attention to the red Hondas. When things come into your mind through this river, red Honda thought, it goes in your subconscious and you notice more red Hondas. And sometimes you actively will be looking for more red Hondas. So either actively or subconsciously, your brain is looking for signifiers of something that you believe. If you believe lowly about yourself, your brain will find a reason that is true in every circumstance that you're in. Versus if you do the opposite, the noggin will find a way to keep you on that straight and narrow Now, I'm not saying this is something that changes in a day, and I'm not saying it's an easy path. Brother, it takes time. It takes time. It takes years. It takes years for you to rearrange the way that you think and tap into that goodness and, change the trajectory of your life. It really takes a while. And that's why I have a self-love playlist on Spotify you can check out. I have this Getting to Where I Want to Be journey. I have a different other playlist that is affirmations. I have the song called Self-Love. Have you listened to my song? Did you listen to my song? If you haven't listened to my song, why don't you go listen to my song right after this? I have a music video for it out too. You should go check that out. But yes, it is really knowing these things is the beginning. So if you're here, if you've watched this video to this point, brother, you're doing amazing. Sister, you're doing amazing. You are on the path. You're on the straight and narrow. And you will get to where you want to be. Because part of this journey is getting to where you want to be. That's what this journey is all about. It's about refinding your compass. And it's about learning the tools to know that at any point you can stop and reflect and reclaim and set a new intention. At any point. This is the tools that we're putting in your pocket. In your pocket, we're putting all the tools you need: reflection, intention, and reclamation, so that at any point in your life you can stop and decide, okay, I am not living the intention that I want to live in my life. So let me shape up, and you know what I mean. So that's the taps on self-love and the importance of a strong self-concept and self-esteem and self-love. And now we're talking about self-acceptance. That's where I went on this tangent. This video is chaotic, but you know what? Like, chaos is the language of things sometimes, and that's okay. Self-acceptance. The second thing is you accept yourself as you are. Because you know what's crazy? Is what is. That's another really strong Buddhist teaching that sounds very obvious, but it's not. It is what it is. You've heard this. It's what is. And if you want to change something, before you can change something, you have to accept that it is. Have you ever heard of the thing that says suffering is resistance of what is? Because if you accept what is, then it just is. Suffering is the resistance of that situation that is sitting in front of you, or that situation that is happening to you. And there is 3 things that you can do to suffering. You can accept it completely. Accept the situation. This is it. I'm in the mud. There is mud all around me. You can accept that. Number 2, you can change it. I'm in the mud right now. I can pick up that rope and pull myself out. You can change it. Number 3, you can leave it completely. I'm in the mud. I come out of the mud. So, with suffering, whatever you're suffering with, and obviously big things, small things, there's layers to this. I'm not saying it's all this easy, but if you really break it down, suffering is always a failure to accept your conditions, and you can do these 3 things. One of these 3 things: change it, leave it completely, or the other one. I'm in the mud. Change it, accept it completely, or leave it completely. Think about a conflict at a workplace. Think about a relationship with someone. Think about X, Y, Z. Whatever it is, you can apply these 3 rules. Accept it completely, change it, or leave it. And the suffering is gone. I don't remember the reason I was even telling you that, but that's what it is. I feel like this is the most chaotic getting to where I want to be that there's been. But I hope there's things that I've tapped in, that you've touched on, that I've touched on, that you appreciate and understand. And I will see you guys in the next episode of Getting to Where I Want to Be. This one has been fun, actually. It's been mad chaotic, but I've actually really enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Some ASMR. All right, yeah. Well, thank you very much for joining me. From here at the studio, I wish you a great rest of your month of February. You have fun, and thanks for joining us on Getting Where I Want to Be. Stay grounded, and I love you. Because love is all there.